Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Teri Brown. Welcome again, Teri. How are you this evening?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to have you back.
Well, it's fun to be back. I like being, second show. I don't mind a third. I don't mind a third show, so keep that in mind too.
Excuse me. Oh, it's a refresher because just that humor, I can actually surmise why I invited you back.
And this time of day I'm getting punchy, so you never know what might come out of my mouth.
That's fine. Oh, if I mute it, don't be freaking out. That's when I suck down some water and I don't want it to be on the mic.
That's all right. I've got this new thing I do where I suck in and then I choke on my own spit.
Mm.
I don't know what that is, except my mother started doing it as she got older, and all I can do is say, "Thanks, Mom. Thanks."
You know
Yeah.
what? You might okay, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you have any breathing or anything like that where sometimes it's a little harder to breathe?
No, I seem to breathe okay. It's just
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Someone told me I probably have a tongue tie.
Hmm. Well, for me, I got diagnosed with late onset asthma.
Oh.
Yeah. I got on hormone pills because I'm in my 50s. I'll be 53 this Sunday.
Well,
So,
I
yes.
just I just turned 62, so there you have it.
Hmm. Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. I had to have the fire department over when we lit the candles, so, that's all right.
I feel
Yeah.
you. I actually, be honest with you, I have to ask my husband, I'm like, how old am I again?
Oh, yes, so what's funny is I say I'm 62. Yes, I am 62, but I spent my whole year of 61 realizing I was almost 62, and so I kept saying 62 in my mind, and now I feel like I'm 63, but that won't be till next year, so
Mm,
it's all right.
mm.
The confusion, it's fine. It's fine.
I
The
feel you.
older you get, it's okay that you don't know your age, so
I feel you on that. I really do. I never feel my age, to be honest with you, until I rip my shoulder or do something
right, right.
stupid.
So in my head, I'm 37. And then when I try to go do something, I'm, 107, and it's like, "Oh, that's why I'm the age that I am." Yeah.
Mm,
But in my mind, I feel like I'm in my mid-30s, which
yeah.
makes no sense because my oldest is 36 and, that math doesn't math. But there you have it.
Laura in the room says she can relate.
Yeah.
Laura, aren't you like 8, 9 years younger than me? You just sit in the corner and be quiet.
Yes.
She says no. All right. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out the obvious here, Laura. Hmm. Now, so the last time you were with us, we focused mainly on 10 little rules
Right.
for a double-blooded adventure. Since then, you've continued writing across several genres, right?
Yeah, because I don't like being put in a box, and so I
Mm.
write a lot of different things. I've got a children's book that came out. I have 3 historical fiction that came out. I've written 3 short stories that are on 3 different anthologies. So 2 of those are out, and one's coming out in the spring. And then I've just finished a manuscript, and I'm in the editing process and hope to have it out, and it's going to be a women's fiction comedy about a woman going through menopause, and so that'll be out in the
Mm.
spring.
Well, if
Yeah.
you ever need some insight, hook me up.
Yeah,
I've done the menopause.
yes, yes, and so her name is Peg, the book is gonna be called Peg Unhinged,
Mhm.
and it's very tongue in cheek, and it's just about a woman who's trying to live her daily life while dealing with hot flashes and hormone surges and forgetting where she put her glasses and all of the things.
Mm.
So
Yeah, they call that brain fog.
yes, yeah. Well, the doctors have such nice words for it as they pat you on the back and tell you there's nothing they could do for you, but,
Mhm.
there you have
Yeah.
it.
I feel that. Be honest with you, though, mine has gotten a little bit better
Has it?
since Yeah, I started, keto. I did keto some years ago, I think, what,
Mhm.
4 or 5 years ago, shortly before my father got sick, and then my dad got sick, and then you know what I mean, it kinda slid under
Yeah.
the rug,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then my
yeah.
mom yeah, mom moved in, blah, 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 stuff like that. So, I started to get back to it because my weight started to increase because now I've got asthma, and so my activities I mean, I still am active, but they're not like the intensity because of the asthma. So,
Right.
I decided to get back on the keto, and I found a few interesting things. Because I had watched a video about a woman who well, she's a doctor, and she's a disease control kinda thing, like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
not really disease, or when you get an ailment or something very serious. Some things that she recommends her patients was ketosis, taking your diet back down to the keto, and there were a lot of benefits because when your body goes in ketosis and you do keto and you eliminate a lot of the carbs that we have in our regular diets and stuff,
Yeah.
you can actually heal the inflammation in your body. Now, I'm not a doctor, so anyone hearing this, please,
Yeah,
consult
this
your
is
doctors and your own, because like my asthma doctor and stuff, my lung specialist. But I have actually been feeling better. I started again. I've been doing it for the last month and a half,
Mhm.
and I actually have been feeling a lot better. I even started doing, like, these drops that are for ketosis, but to help keep you hydrated, for a
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's even been helping with, like, what you were just talking about, the mucus and stuff,
Yeah, the
and be yeah, yeah. Yeah. After the podcast, if you want, I'll share what I'm using for the drops because it does help with my hydration. It keeps the water electrolytes in my body.
yeah.
Because I have to drink a lot. When I start to get that what you were talking about, the mucusy and that kinda stuff, it's about keeping your fluids, your electrolytes and all that. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not a doctor, guys. Please do not,
And she does
Yeah.
not play one on TV, so
I don't even write about one. But I just know it's really helped me, like I said and I can even share that podcast with you too.
Yeah,
It's
that'd
on
be great.
YouTube. Yeah, I've found it very interesting. Now my husband in the background was going, "Hogwash, hogwash."
Right, right.
But
Well,
but I found it very informative. I really enjoyed listening to it.
so here's what it boils down to. Different people's bodies, that we're all so different. And some things
Mhm.
that work beautifully for some don't work for others. And so, to call it hogwash until you've tried it to see how it works for you, give it a
Right.
shot.
Right.
So I have fibromyalgia and I have a friend who has fibro, and she was all into, eating made it so much better, how she changed up her food, etc. And so
Mhm.
she got rid of like all the gluten and sugars. And so I did that for like 3 months where
Mhm.
I ate no gluten, no sugar, very even little, like very little fruit, like just really focused on like vegetables and meats. And I didn't feel any different. And
Really?
for her, it changed her world. And so I just think it's a lot of like everybody's body is so different. And
Right.
I don't know that there's one root cause for things. I think often it's a combination of things. And so it depends a lot on what's actually causing, your problem versus someone else's. So
Oh, yeah.
that's why so many people say, "Oh, that's hogwash. It didn't work for me." And I'm of the opinion where I say it didn't work for me, but I don't call it hogwash because if it works for someone else, fantastic. I mean,
Right.
isn't that wonderful? That's one less person who's sick.
Right. I agree with that because, I mean, since starting again, I've lost 17 pounds this last
Wow,
month.
that's fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just basic. I do dirty keto, so I don't know how, everyone else goes about it, but I do vegetables and I do protein bars, but I can figure about 20 to 30 grams. And then I have an app. So the more active I am, the more I can eat. So
Right.
let's see if I get my butt up and
So
walk.
so right now she's running while we speak because she wants another cookie. That's
Now, you know what I have found though is if you move your legs a lot, if and I do that, I fidget. I move my
right.
legs a lot and I wear my Fitbit around my ankle. And so it helps. And obviously it's working for me because I've lost 17 pounds.
Oh, yeah? Makes
So,
sense.
well, thank you. But like I said, it was because basically, like I said, I had asthma. I got diagnosed last year. I had problems before that. You probably remember. Probably I sound like crap the last podcast.
I don't have that on the tip of my memory, but I will take your word for it.
Right. But anyways, yeah, I got diagnosed and basic because like what you're saying, and I know we're getting a little off subject, but it kind of stems on what you were saying about menopause. And I started to get on hormone replacement.
Mhm.
Well, during that time, and this is something as maybe you want to know as people with women menopause and women or premenopausal. When I got on the medication, I got really sick. Not from the medication, but I got something in my lung. I had a lung infection or something. And because I started hormones, right? It like reset my body. And like as if you were in a juvenile state and you got sick, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
geez.
so it put me in a place of now I have late onset asthma, which from what I understand, again, not a doctor, this is just from my own research, but looking it up, it's more prone in women than in men to have late onset asthma
Isn't
because
that
of that,
interesting?
because of the hormone. Yeah.
So do you wanna know what's really crazy is each time I was pregnant, I got asthma.
Did you?
Yep, yep. But when the pregnancy ended and then I was done nursing, the asthma would disappear. Every time, 4 times.
Really? Now see,
In fact,
Jeff said my husband said he had it when he was a kid, but he grew out of it, which
right,
usually happens for
right,
youth. They usually grow out of it. And
right.
but
But mine
when
mine
you
was
get
very hormonal related, no doubt.
mm,
Because, like, I
mhm.
even knew I was pregnant with my 4th child before a test could tell me.
Oh, wow.
Because all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, I have asthma again." Like, I can feel
Mhm.
it. I can feel it. I know what this is. And, yeah, then I was pregnant. It was like, "Would you look at that?" And what's really funny is to have doctors tell you that's not possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, well, it's not possible, but it's happening." So there you have it.
Well, it's just like this, just like diet, like me
Right,
saying that I'm feeling better. I mean, it might not be just like you said, when you tried something different for a diet, you didn't feel the difference that your friend did. I think it all
right.
has to do with hormones,
Oh, it
uh,
does. It
your
does.
climate, where you're living, what atmospheric, your stress out. Because
Oh,
cortisone
yeah.
will kick you in the butt, especially as we get older.
I don't
And
know what
that's
you're talking about. I've never been stressed a day in my life.
Yeah, it's called coming back to me in memory while you're on my show.
I'm I'm the most laid back, easygoing, type B personality. I'm waiting for lightning to strike, by the way. Yeah.
Okay, so we don't get too far away though. When you were talking about your book, and it's based on a woman going through menopausal.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much can you tell me about her?
Yeah, so her name is Peg, and she is a, like, type A personality, really driven. She lives at the beach, but she never enjoys the beach, although she says she loves the beach. She can't even remember the last time she's been out on it. She's a real
Mm,
estate agent. She is, been the number 1 sales agent for the last 5 years, that kind of thing. Her husband decides that he's ready to move on to greener pastures, and they're separated, and he's dating younger women, and it has sent her into a complete frenzy. And you just see her grappling with her world as one thing after another kind of like is tumbling away. And
mhm,
a lot of it is poor choices on her part, and a lot of it's just hormone craziness. And it's funny. It is, if you're looking for a good, funny book,
mhm.
it's just a good, funny book. And then in the end, we can all say, "Oh, I like her." So it's good. I like it.
It is what you hear a lot. I mean, I haven't been close to it in a way, but if you ever notice that a lot of relationships that lasted a long time, and
Yeah.
if they break apart, the men usually get a younger woman, and the women find out that usually they like life as a single woman.
Well, and it's so
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's so funny
Mhm.
because, like, she's having all you go through menopause, your body
Mm.
changes. You're no longer the size you used to be.
Ah,
You've got all
yeah.
these things that are happening, and she realizes that her husband can go out there and pick up a woman 20 years younger than her. And there's no way she's going to pick up a man 20 years younger than her. Right. And so she's furious, and she's furious pretty much at anyone who's younger than her. And yes, it's just, it is funny. It is a good, funny look at just a woman trying to navigate life as people are telling her, oh, it's not so bad, or this is normal. And,
Mm.
she, at one point she goes to the doctor and she tells him something like she put her phone in the refrigerator and couldn't find it. And he told her, oh, this is normal. And she's like, what's normal about that? There's nothing normal about this. And so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I feel you on that, though. I mean, it's relatable, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And
And
I think it'll hit a very good audience on that as far
I
as
think
work
I
goes.
think so too. Most women can have a good laugh. Anyone who's been through it will laugh because they will be able to see themselves in it. And because it's not happening to them at the moment, it will be funny. Women who are going through it will at least not feel alone, and they will also be able to laugh because it isn't them, and it's always funny to laugh when it's someone else. And the only ones that I'm not sure would be like young women who maybe don't even think about the fact that their bodies will do menopause. But
Yeah.
maybe they will enjoy it. I hope so. We'll see.
I think it's relatable. Well, again, 'cause I'm in my 50s, but for me, I think it's a lot relatable because I think you can sit back and see, especially when you're saying that she's slowly going into it, right? The slow getting
Yeah.
menopause.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, and I think after you're fully blown in it, I think a lot of us, we find it ourselves freer to speak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Once,
pretty mouthy. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty mouthy to my husband, and I
Once
mean,
you get to a certain point, it's like, yeah, here I am, take me world. But
yeah.
uh, yeah, it's the getting there part that's difficult.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, there are a lot of things in my life now I'm like, "Yeah, I wasted too much time on that, or that. I should have just done this from the get-go," but you don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of a learning experience, and most women in their younger age won't realize that until they're about our age.
Yeah.
But then, you know what? At least I can say it for myself. I learned from my mother's error. There's a lot of things like her living here now. I really didn't realize that she didn't know, you know?
Right.
And so you you never know. They might actually learn from that. They might be better at handling this stuff than what we were.
Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean,
Yeah.
a learning tool and every.
Mhm.
I was just trying
Now
to be funny. That's
I'm sure that it'll be presented that way as well, but it might actually open a few eyes up and they'll be like, "What? What?"
So
Um
it's funny, my editor is 40, just turned 40, and
Mhm.
she had a couple of questions, and she said, "I just don't think anyone would act that way." And she said that like 2 or 3 different points, and I asked her, I said, "I just need to know how old you are." And she said 40, and I started to laugh, and I said, "Well, you may not think anyone would act that way. Just trust me on this."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, no, please tell me that I won't act that way."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot there going on that you could put in there. Like,
Well,
I can
the
already think of
anger
a lot of
the
ideas.
the anger that comes out of literally nowhere, and there's that
Mm.
little tiny piece of you that's going, "Terry, what are you doing?" And the rest of you is going, "Shut up."
I think the biggest thing for me as I've gotten older is I never formulated words the way I do now. I never called out other people's bull crap,
Right, right.
and I'm gonna generalize this at my husband, so if he ever listens to this, I love you still. And but I'll be honest with you, in my younger days, I would have been, like, feeling like I'm a horrible person, when you get in those little
Yeah,
tiff and
yeah,
taps,
yeah.
and feeling like a horrible person, like, "Yeah, this was all my fault because of the way and now I call him out on it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And, of course, he always tells me, there's the girl that I married," like that, now he leans into it. Yeah, yeah, I remember, and I'm like, I don't remember being half of what I am right now.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I think that's the
I have
biggest
to
thing.
kind of put my hands over my mouth because
Mm,
there are times when it's just not appropriate to
yeah,
let someone know that they're being a complete fool. And so you just have to just like stand there and watch it happen, and you're not allowed to say anything. And my whole body is screaming, tell them. Tell them now. Say it out loud. Let them know that you know. And it's like, no, no, just
Mhm.
yeah. I don't have a
So
lot of tolerance anymore for crap.
yeah.
People say things and it's like immediately I feel a switch go off and it's like, "Oh no, Terry, this is not the time to say anything. It's not oh," and then I say it anyway. It's like
I might have to retitle this podcast. Menopause and two ladies are going through it.
Yes, it's
A menopause advice, not.
not.
Now, you've published, I'm gonna gear it a little bit so that
Yeah.
I make sure I get a little more of you in here. You've published everything from historical fiction and inspirational nonfiction and children's book. Looking back, which book or character from your wide catalog has surprised you the most and you think readers would respond to it? Is this the latest about the lady going through menopause, did you say?
Maybe, but I think that the character that I love the most is Maggie in Daughters of
Mhm,
Green Mountain Gap. She is a woman who is a healer. They're called granny women, so she does roots and herbs, a little bit of mountain magic to figure out, how to heal people. But she has this ability that so many people are lacking, which is to look at others and their beliefs and the things that they find to be true and finding a way to use them without giving up her own values. So like she meets a Cherokee man who is a healer and he
mm,
teaches her some things. And some of it really doesn't apply to her because she's Christian and it doesn't work with her religion the way he would want the way he would heal. And instead of just throwing it all out and saying, well, obviously he has nothing to teach me, she instead looks at it and says, how can I use what's true in what he says? And I love
mhm,
that about her. The fact
mhm,
that she's so open-minded and willing to look at people that others at the time were calling heathens and
mhm.
saying, yes, but they have so much value here. And how can I use that? How can I understand it in a way that allows me to be who I am, but I still can take what's true in what he knows? And I love that about her.
Nice. So, your web shows a really diverse collection, which we've kinda tipped a little bit here as when we
Yeah.
talk about your writing. Memoirs, fiction, essays, and life lessons, which our podcast last time together was about. Um, so if you had a theme in your books, what do you feel would be your biggest theme as far as your work and how it's correlated?
Well, the way it's collated as far as I'm concerned is it's all character driven. I
Mhm,
end up with a character who literally is born in my head, pops up and demands that I tell the story. And then I put that character in a setting that I feel will best help tell the story. And so it's
mhm,
all character driven. My children's book, it's about a little train named Lola who is trying to figure out what kind of train she wants to be when she grows up. People tease her because she wants to be a space train and there's no such thing. So it's about her journey. So it's always about character for me. I tell people that I want to invite or I introduce readers to characters they'd like to invite to lunch.
mhm.
And if you like a good character, then you'll want to read my books because I have great characters that will take you fun places. So it isn't so much about genre or even a theme as much as it's really good, strong characters who have a nice arc.
Nice. So, now you've been pretty open.
Yeah.
Even as we talk, we are pretty open as far as a lot like me, we're pretty much open on our own experiences, I believe.
Right.
And so, and with that said, you've been pretty open about growth and reinvention, but both creatively and personally.
Mhm.
Is there a rule or a life shift that has worked its way into your writing from that kind of format in your life?
Oh, it's worked my way into its writing. It's interesting. Sometimes I read my book and I go back and I say, "Oh, would you look at that? I didn't even know I was doing it."
Yeah.
But it's because so much of me is put into my characters.
Mhm.
Me as I was, me as I am, me as I hope to be someday. I don't know. I think that maybe like the overarching life lesson would be something that I believe, which is everything turns out okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
Mm,
So just
yeah.
keep pushing forward, because if you don't like the way it looks, this doesn't have to be the stopping place. And I think we see that probably like in my characters in my books.
Right. It's kinda dark as far as life in general right now with everything that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
going too far into that, so but yeah, that is a good thing to keep reminding ourselves that if it's dark right now, then that means this stuff isn't over and that we
Yeah,
can change things,
it's not
yeah.
over. I lived for 14 years in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Mhm.
And during that time, I mean, it was pretty dark. But
Yeah,
now, things got much lighter. And then at the beginning of this year, my husband died. Um,
right.
and so once again, things got dark and now things are getting light again. I think that you just have to remember that whatever you're in, whatever you're doing at the moment, if it's not good, if it's not right, it, it can be fixed.
Mhm.
And it's not the end. And yeah, that's kind of, I remind myself of that, especially like on mornings where I don't want to do life, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had one of those mornings.
Oh, no, 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 I get what you mean. I turn on the news daily and I'm like, "Gosh."
So I've quit turning on the news. I
Oh, yeah.
refuse. What I do now is I have a news aggregator that sends me like the main headlines of the day. I read
Right.
the headlines, not the news stories that go with them, just the headlines, and I say that's all I need to know and I move on.
Yeah, I do the podcast now.
Yeah,
Um, it's a little more political. I listened to a creator on TikTok, and she made a very valid point, and she said, "If you have a platform, you owe it to society to put this information out." You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
But I try to do it from a neutral stance. Anything that comes out, I'm saying, "This is what happened, this is how it's gonna affect you, or it could affect."
right, right,
And there are some days I find it very hard to compile it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's very much so. It's
yeah.
very hard.
Now, I've kind of stopped, there's only a few things that I can really do. I can vote, I can
Yeah.
I can write a senator, but
Mhm. I've
generally
done that.
speaking, yeah, me too. I've done
Yeah,
both,
yeah.
but
Yep.
but generally speaking, there's really very little that I can do other than I can make my world, my space good and kind and open and loving and all of the things. And I can hope that by doing so, those around me feel that and then also feel the need to do that so that it just keeps spreading. That's the only thing I know to do. And so watching the news doesn't help me do that. So I've just quit. I just quit.
Right. I can feel that. I feel that. My mother will tell me that, and this is what I've said because, like, I've done a few protests, and my mom's like, she's fearful about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "But if we don't stand up and we don't give a voice, if we comply and say, 'Okay, that's okay, this is how it is now,' then we make it happen even more."
Right.
It
Right.
is why we have stood up. It is how we've stood up. It's that we make attention to it. We continue to put it in the news. We continue to podcast. We continue to do our blogs or put it out in information or even pass it on to your friends where they're not aware and you tell them what you've heard.
Right.
It's that kind of method that keeps it alive, that makes senators have to shift their positioning
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
change the laws, saying, "This isn't right, this isn't right." I mean, we've seen that now just if you've seen anything on TikTok or the news, it might be my algorithm that sees it, but, they're making the things in the Senate. You see a lot of things happening. And,
Yeah.
like, again, I won't go into the detail because this is about our podcast here as far as you and I. so I won't make it too much that down that dark alley. But yeah, I think your belief system as far as that if it is in this dark moment, then that means it's not over. And you
Right.
can look at that as a positive. It's dark as
Absolutely.
it's dark as crap right now, but we're gonna work like you know what to bring the light to make sure this is a lot more awareness on what we're dealing right now. So I
I
agree
think,
with that
yeah.
100%.
I just think, and it's also, I don't know, there's a lot of hope attached to that,
Mhm.
because if you're in a dark space, and you can remind yourself that it can and will get better, there's hope
Right.
with that. And who doesn't need hope when you're in a dark space?
Oh, I agree. I agree. So many of our listeners first met you through Double Butted Adventures through our
Yeah.
podcast, but you have a whole library behind you for readers to discover. So what I'd love for you to do is raise a little bit of attention. Try to tell me a few books that our readers can grab a hold
Okay.
and or your favorites. Pick the favorites out. Let me know what you got.
All right. And I'm assuming you mean of the ones I've written, right?
Mhm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I also read a lot. I was just wondering if you were like, I've read
we're
87 books
we're
this year, so.
we're a 20-minute podcast and we've
Okay.
already went over.
Okay. Okay. So
You and I
daughter
could probably go
Right.
hours on
We
that one.
could. We could. Daughters of Green Mountain Gap, historical fiction, 1890s North Carolina mountains. It's about three generations of healers. I love
Mm.
that book, and it just won a big North Carolina award where it was chosen by the North Carolina Humanities as one of their book clubs of the year books. So
Congratulations.
super excited about that one. An Enemy Like Me is a World War II, way more about how war affects family across generations. And Sunflowers Beneath the Snow is about Ukraine. It starts in the 70s and it goes through 2014. And yeah, those are like the three that I've got out. And then, like I said, I've got some anthologies. They're called Feisty Deeds 1 and Feisty Deeds 2. I've got short stories in both of those anthologies. And then Peg Unhinged will be out in the spring.
Nice. Well, that goes on to my last question as far as projects that are coming up. Are you working on anything right now, though?
Well, I'm finishing up the edits of Peg Unhinged. I have an idea for another story about so it's going to be probably historical fiction, but it's going to be dual timeline, present and past, and may even have a little bit of, I don't know, suspense to it. I don't know exactly where it's going. I've started some research. It's very interesting. And I'm putting out a new podcast that's coming out in January. So I do one called Online for Authors where I talk to other authors about their books. But this one I'm calling a bite-sized podcast, and authors get to read the first paragraph of their book and then ask, would you be willing to add this to your TBR? So your
Oh,
to be read
nice.
list. And so it's a tiny, 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 tiny little bite-sized podcast that I hope to get out there and maybe like see if I can't get it out on TikTok and those kinds of things.
Nice. So how is the podcast doing your first one?
Yeah, it's going good. I am coming up on my 2-year mark. So I feel like that's fantastic. Most people don't make it 2 years. So the fact that I've, every week have done 1 or 2 podcasts a week for the last 2 years, that's fantastic. And I have a wait list right now of 18 months.
Wow, congrats.
So people want to be on it. Now, I don't know that enough people are listening to it yet, but people want to
Mhm.
be on it, which I think is fabulous. So,
Right. As your podcast here on Podbean?
yeah, so it's on Podbean and everywhere else.
Oh, you should check your stats.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do, but it's also out on, like,
Oh,
I put
yeah,
it I
I
put
know.
it on YouTube and I've got it, and those stats, apparently, those are downloads, and then there are people who stream it and it doesn't show as the download. There's all kinds of
Well,
stuff that goes on, so I don't
the s
understand all the stats.
the stats you see on Podbean, that's just Podbean. That's
Yeah,
not now, it will show you, like, where people are reaching, but they have to go to Podbean, if that makes sense.
right.
So, if your listeners are on Apple or
Then it's not
Amazon
showing.
Music, yeah, it's not gonna show. You'd have to go individually to those stats. Now,
Right.
like, for, like, Alexa, I've noticed that my numbers have increased for that simply because people are asking for Alexa. Alexa reaches into Podbean on the circulation on it,
Okay.
and that will show up here. So
Oh,
it
okay.
depends on the circle of that
Right,
because we've been
right.
doing it for 4 years now. And I've noticed our downloads have increased. We're up to, what was it, Laura? Was it 8.3K on downloads? And that's for 4 years. But when we first started, keep it
Right.
going, because when we first started, yeah, 8, Laura says 8.3. When we first started, we were lucky to do 1,000. And by the time we would get 1,000, it would be by the end of that year,
Right.
on our
Right.
downloads.
Right.
But again, that only counts Podbean, and I've gotten more followers on YouTube and stuff now.
Right. And
I hate
I think a lot of people listen to Spotify and other things like that. So,
Yeah, I'm not on I was on Spotify and I took us off of there. I
okay.
was a little against the method that they were pushing, and so I kinda removed us from that, but then that would take us down to a whole political realm of
Right.
podcasts here, and we don't want So, I'm trying to steer us clear as best
Well,
as
yeah,
I can,
yeah,
Jerry.
and your time is up, and you know that that will take hours. So,
Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm telling you, I again, when I do talk politics, I try to keep it from, you know what I mean? I try to keep
try
it
to keep it from
factual.
degrading. Yes, from
Yeah,
degrading into name calling and the things that are total, but they're those things are totally
Yeah,
non-helpful.
yeah. It
Because
isn't.
someone who doesn't believe like you believe isn't going to listen to you if you name call.
No,
That
yeah,
is never, ever going to be a way to change someone's mind, and
right, and
so
I
yeah,
believe that. I
yeah,
believe that because I have family members who started out on the other side. And in the beginning, I tried, when they were running for terms, I tried to bring some awareness on things, and it became, you know what I mean? So I learned very
contentious.
quickly. Yeah, I learned very quickly to keep my opinions to myself. And it's interesting because our last Thanksgiving we got together, it's interesting to see the opinions are changing,
Yeah.
you know, and
But
that wasn't
it
because I,
definitely right, and it doesn't come because people called people names or shouted or shoved things in people's faces, because that is categorically the wrong way to change anyone's mind
right.
about
I'll tell you,
anything.
the thing I have learned the most, this is from my years of my age, take it with
From
a grain
her
of salt.
years of
Yeah,
experience,
yeah.
years and years.
Um, I have most come to the discovery that people, and this goes with anything, people generally, if it does not personally affect their lives, don't take notice or can blur it aside because it doesn't affect them generally.
Right.
When things start to affect your life or someone very close to your life,
Then all of a
then
sudden you notice. Yeah.
then you become more aware. And I
But,
think
that's true of people in general. I
it
mean,
is very
you
much so.
and why is that so? Well, we only have enough bandwidth to pay attention to so many things, right? And so what do? You pay attention to those things that matter to you. You can't you can't possibly pay attention to everything.
Yeah,
It's not even feasible. And so we've learned, just as a human population, to pay attention to those things that matter to our daily living and
right.
to ignore everything else. Because
Yeah, I agree.
otherwise, how do you function? And so, yeah, the best thing to do then is to help people see how things actually affect their lives. And then if you can do that, then you can change minds.
Right. I agree. I think for me the most because I have to tune in so much and there's so much to be able to research nowadays. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not
Yes.
like having to overreach for information to find nowadays to do research on, because
Right.
that's this thing. I love to do the research. It's not always pleasant to see the facts laid out, but for me at the end of it, when I have already put out a podcast, it's geared in that sense. I go listen to a podcast. I go not a podcast. I go listen to an Audible book, or I put on a series on Netflix, or geez, trying to think of the other ones. I watch Vicky right now. If you're into the rom com kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to read the subtitles, but I'm good with it. That's fine. Fine with that. I can do it. to get my mind away from it, to see something that's better than what we're at right now, because I can get just as bogged down as anyone else with it. So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree with, like, what we talked about. I think keeping the light, trying to keep your mind thinking that if it's the darkest time, that just means that it's not over, and we're still plenty of time for us to get involved and make that change.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
hate I hate to do it because I enjoy talking to you and we go off on so many things, and I feel like I didn't get all my questions in with you. So,
Well, that just means you have to have me back again.
I know, right?
What a shame.
We are booking up already for next year, so get hit with me and we'll get you
Okay.
on if you really wanna do it,
Yeah.
because I do enjoy talking with you. We never seem to stay on course, but that's fine.
I don't know how that could be when you take 2 menopausal women and expect them to stay on course. I don't what do you expect of me? I don't know what
I
you
know. I know. I'm just as bad. I can go in the house and be looking for something and be like, "Why did I come in here?"
Oh, I have to go back to where I was and look
Yeah.
around and go, "Oh, that's what I was doing," and then I have to go back. Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
so
time,
with you.
all
I
the
I
time.
had the other day, I told everybody about something, and, like, it would take us off topic if I told you what it was, but I would just repeating it all day, that I knew this bit of information. Then, when I needed it for the phone call I was supposed to be on, could not remember the name of it.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
You and my character Peg will love one another, so you'll
I
enjoy
know. I know, I can't wait. Thank you so much, Terry, for being on with us. I truly enjoy when you're with us.
it. Thank you for having me, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you to our listeners, guys. Until next time, bye-bye for now.